Out of all the systems in Holocure, the one that most people will probably care about are collabs. Collabs are essentially the fusion of two maxed out weapons to make a unique and more powerful weapon. So that begs the question, what makes a collab good? There is a lot of debate between what makes a collab good or not, and nobody can really get a consensus on this. But this is my video, so obviously I have an opinion on this. If I were to give my personal opinion, I would say it boils down to three things. First, is the collab's ability good? Nearly all the basic weapons in Holocure are just tools to do more DPS, just in different and unique ways. However, most collabs offer two functions, damage and utility. An example of this is the collab Rap Dog, which deals damage to the enemies and reduces their defense, allowing your other weapons to deal more damage to them. If a collab is weak in one of these aspects, it should ideally be stronger in the other. For example, the collab Frozen Seas deals very minimal damage to the enemies. However, Frozen Seas is not a bad collab, as it also has a slowing effect on enemies, which makes it quite useful. Another example of this phenomena is Flattening Board. It doesn't have any debuff effect on enemies, but its raw DPS makes up, and it is really effective for clearing out waves of enemies. As such, when deciding which collab to use, the power and utility of the collab should always come first. Second, is the collab worth the component weapons? When you are doing a collab, you need to level up 2 weapons to level 7. That's an investment of 14 levels. However, if the collab is really good, then investing levels in mediocre weapons is a worthwhile thing to consider. For example, take the collab Dragonfire. Dragonfire is a collab between Fan Beam and Plug type Asakoko, and while I wouldn't call either of these weapons bad, I wouldn't call them great either. However, the collab Dragonfire is probably the best source of concentrated DPS in the entire game. It has an incredibly high rate of fire, meaning it can easily proc skills like Activate on hit, and the fact that all of its damage is focused in a single direction, which you can control, makes it probably the best weapon to use against bosses. Then there's the inverse to consider, where the collab is not worth the investment. Let's take a look at the collab Breathe In type Asakoko. This collab is made up of Hollow Bomb and Plug type Asakoko, and the collab is kind of mediocre. Combine it with the fact that Hollow Bomb and Plug type Asakoko are part of better collabs, and the collab just becomes even worse. Which brings me to my third point you need to consider to determine if a collab is good. What collabs are you giving up? Every weapon in the game can be used in at least 2 collabs. However, when you use a weapon in one collab, it can't be used in another, meaning that the more collabs a weapon is in, the more you have to weigh what collabs you are sacrificing for this one collab. Let's take for example the collab Mikamet. In the current version of the game, 0.5, Mikamet is considered one of the better collabs. However, in 0.3, Mikamet was ranked as one of the worst collabs. But if you look at the changelog of the game, you'll notice that Mikamet has not had a single buff or nerf in its existence. So what happened? Well, the components of Mikamet are Psycho Axe and Elite Bucket. Psycho Axe was a part of the collab BL Fujoshi, which was the strongest collab in 0.3, and Elite Bucket was part of the collab Elite Cooking, an equally strong collab made with Spider Cooking, which is one of the best early game weapons for new players. And back in 0.3, everybody was a new player. By getting Mikamet, you were essentially giving up on the 2 best collabs in the entire game, which was why Mikamet was almost never used unless you were doing something specific like a Kiara Hinotori build. In 0.4, however, BL Fujoshi and Elite Cooking were nerfed, but that wasn't the main reason Mikamet rose up to becoming one of the better collabs. The reason was that 2 new collabs were added, Broken Dreams and Frozen Seas. Broken Dreams was a strong jack-of-all-trades collab that gave a new option for collabing Spider Cooking, and Frozen Seas gave a new collab option for BL Book. As such, getting Mikamet no longer meant you were giving up on the 2 best collabs, and you could use the weapons you would have used for Elite Cooking and BL Fujoshi on other collabs. When you look at which collabs are considered good or bad, this third point is generally the linchpin on which collabs are considered good or bad. For example, Idol Concert is fairly weak as a collab because one of its components is a part of the collab Rap Dog, which is straight up superior. Light Beam and Stream of Tears are also never used since their components all belong to better collabs. So those are the 3 criteria which I use to determine if a collab is good or not. If you're curious about what I think the best collab is, I think it's Rap Dog. Feel free to debate that topic in the comments. Thanks for watching, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated when I post the next video, and happy holocuring.